Hey, I'm Charlie.
And this is Daniel.
And you're listening to Monsters and Mimosas. Hey, ghoul, hey.
Hey, girl. How you been?
You know, it's been an interesting work week, which I told you all about earlier. I'm just going to say that I'm very happy to be here with you, drinking bubbles, chilling out, and ready to talk about spooky stuff because that's what my distressor is.
Yeah, we took a little bit of a break. We recorded our anniversary episode on The Exorcist and took like a week or two off just to kind of like decompress. There's
also, you went on a little mini vacay.
Went on a little mini vacay to LA. Got to like see civilization for a hot moment.
Was it like cute. Busy or was it still kind of a shell of itself?
Well, you know the gays, they've never cared about other people's public health before. So why start now? So West Hollywood was popping.
I would imagine so. And right now, at least here in San Diego, things are starting to kind of loosen up. We went down a tier because 1 in 4 San Diegans is now vaccinated. And so and our percentage ends up still being like, I want to say our average rolling is like 2%, 3% positivity rate. So we're still in the clear to continue to our opening. And boy, is it happening.
Yeah, it's happening super fast. You've already been vaccinated completely.
Yes,
I have mine scheduled for the 27th of April.
Be careful for the booster. That one's a doozy.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Like it was worth it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Whatever.
To protect yourself and protect your family. It's worth it.
I've had worse things in my body.
Well, we decided to kind of do something a little bit different. And I know that you are a fan of award seasons because every time this time of year rolls around, we would go to your house and have a nice dinner and watch the Oscars.
As Myra from Schitt's Creek likes to say, her favorite season of the year is award season.
Oh, my God. I mean, I feel like that bitch lives award season.
I know. I do love a good award. And they have suffered greatly from the COVID pandemic because it's just a lot less epic. Like I like awards less for the actual awards giving out, although that's like fun, but like to see all these like celebrities
on the red carpet. Yes.
Yeah,
I love the dresses. I also prefer like the pre-show. I know we did watch the VMAs here. That was during COVID. That was interesting. I think they did a really good job. I wonder what the Oscars are going to be like this year.
Yeah, I think the VMAs did really well for what they had. To do. You know, I think it was better than some of the other award shows. And with the Oscars, I've heard it's like kind of like a full on like show now, which because the celebrities obviously can easily get vaccinated because privilege. So you could do a full on award.
Yeah. I mean, are they going to have a live host or they didn't last year, right?
No,
they didn't have anybody.
Virtual,
it was virtual. Because I'm so used to, I miss the days when Billy Crystal would host the Oscars like every year. I really loved him. Don't put Ricky Gervais there, though.
Wait, hold on. Was it virtual? Actually, I think the Oscar.
They didn't have a host last year. I swear. It was just like moved along.
Oh, that's right. It was. There was no host, which actually worked out pretty well.
I know, but I really still like the warm up kind of comedy that the host typically does to get everyone loosened up.
Yeah, no,
I don't think that happened.
No, I do remember that. It was very like, it worked in the sense that it moved really fast, but yeah, it's like that careful balance.
So the way that our Bloody Mary Awards are going to go is that we are not going to go through nominees because this is like an hour podcast. So we don't want to keep you guys here for 500 years. We're just going to go category by category and choose our Bloody Mary pick.
Yes, the Bloody Mary Awards is a new tradition, and we'll go through some categories that are very official that we made up, and serious business.
They're patented, tried and true.
Yes.
And we didn't just think of these like 45 minutes ago.
Very concrete and very,
they're established.
Lots of research done.
Yeah.
To make sure that there is no ambiguity in what could be and could not be in these categories.
Yeah.
And everyone who we nominated, we apologize anyone we don't mention. We only really look at the people who apply for the Bloody Marys. Somehow the Oscars, if
somehow we got snubbed. I don't know.
Didn't submit your nominee
application,
were not reviewed.
Submitted for review. Yes,
for a Bloody Mary award.
It is correct. And we also, if you kind of want to think about it, had slim pickings for 2020. Not a lot came out. A lot of things were postponed. So hopefully things will be different coming up.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of our picks are honestly like Shudder films and original films that were not released in theaters for obvious reasons, but probably wouldn't have been anyways. So I think this is going to be kind of fun because it's not going to be the obvious picks of mainstream because there wasn't that many. And yeah, we should just probably get this started.
Without further ado.
The audience seems like they're getting impatient that they want to know, the nominees.
Hey, you in the third row, put your top on, sit your ass down. All right. I hope everyone has bubbles with them.
So our first category of the Bloody Marys goes to the scariest jump scare.
I'm going to admit, I feel like there weren't a lot of jump scares to choose from this year. And maybe it's just me not paying attention. Or maybe it's because one of them stuck out so much to me that I just didn't even have eyes for others.
For me, it's a little bit of both. I think that there was definitely, and it's funny because we created these picks separately, guys, but like some of them overlap. And this one does. But also, I think one film stuck out as far as like good jump scares. But also, jump scares have been so ostracized in the horror community that it's just not we're kind of in this like trend of like films with a lot of dread. So they have
it's
like
true.
A
and people think that jump scares now are cheap. And I disagree. I think there are some cheap jump scares, especially like, a good combination of the two would be like the Conjuring movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's a great example.
They're actually a little bit like, one day I was like, I'm going to watch like 3 Conjurings. By the middle of the second one, I was so tired of the dread aspect that I was like, just fucking scare me already.
Right.
It is like a little bit, what is it when you're tired of something? It just goes on forever and you're tired of it.
You're just tired.
I'm fatigued. I was fatigued from like all of the dread and the suspense leading up. I'm like, just fucking jump out already.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like when you're watching a horror film, there's too much dread. Or if you can't watch like Midsommar and Hereditary on the same night.
No. Exactly, because it's one type of horror that is specific to you. If you keep working out that one part of your brain, you just get fatigued.
Yeah,
you're tired 100%. Of it.
So I'll go with my pick first. My pick goes to the movie Host when Teddy sees the demon in its real form, or what we think would be a real form.
I mean, it looks like a demon.
Terrifying.
Sure does.
Congratulations, Teddy's demon on Host for the Bloody Mary. Whatever it is. What's the name of the ghost that the girl from Host calls?
Wasn't it like Jack or something? Like I had a friend who hung himself, you lying ass bitch.
Yes, whatever that name goes to, it goes the scariest jump scare because it scared the fuck out of me.
Yes, she brought this upon us.
Honorable mention, I guess. This was pretty close because I also found the sisters, spoiler alert for The Invisible Man, the sister's death in Invisible Man, I think could count as a jump scare, and I didn't see that coming, and it actually was really good. Really well done.
Damn. Well, my Bloody Mary also goes to Host.
Oh my God, what a surprise, guys.
I know. It's just, I wanted to not copy you, but you went first, so I kind of had to. I was going to say also to Demon on the Stairs. I mean, we had seen, the footprints in the baby powder. We had seen things open and close. We've seen things fall on individuals. That was one where you finally saw the face of, what was causing everything. I will say, though, I can't remember the name of the gal right now, but the one who had her background that was automatically set of her kind of walking around in her room. When you see her face clunk onto the computer and fall down, you're just like, that was completely unexpected.
That was
completely unexpected.
If I had to choose a second one from that film, it would be that one for sure.
It was terrifying.
Absolutely.
Because you're like, oh, she's fine. And you're like, then you remember, you're like, fuck. It's like, do you remember obviously you remember in Scream when Kenny comes out and he's like, shit, 30-second delay. And you're like, fuck. Yeah. It's like that.
Yes.
You're like, wait a minute.
This is not
real.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, that was, that movie.
That movie got us this year. If you haven't checked it out, please go and see it.
On Shudder right now.
Absolutely right now.
Like yesterday.
Yeah. It's going to pop up a little bit later. Spoiler alert. Anyways.
All right. So that would put us at...
The next award is going to go to... The next Bloody Mary award is going to go to Best Supporting Actress.
Best Supporting Actress. I want to come out in a gown and be like, the nominees are... But I can't.
Nope.
We didn't even dress up.
And the award goes to... Oh, how great.
But my anxiety is like, what if you can't open the envelope? What if for some reason you read the wrong name? Like, what if something goes wrong?
I know. Or like you mispronounce the name like John Travolta did to Indina Menzel.
He did not. What did he say?
I'm going to put the record.
Please do.
I'm going to make our producer put the recording into this.
I feel like it's a pretty straightforward name, Idina Menzel.
Nope. John Travolta botched it. I'm going to play it up right now.
Please.
Hold on. Oh. It's so funny. It's not even close.
I'm just going to assume that she won for Frozen.
It's I think he was announcing her that she was going to perform the Frozen song.
I see. Okay.
And it was so bad. It was like when Wendy Williams called Dua Lipa Dula Peep. You're like, no.
Dula Peep?
That sounds like a rapper. Dula Peep.
There will always be a special place in my heart for the movie musical and for the songs that create their most memorable moments.
Wait for it.
Here to perform the Oscar-nominated, gorgeously empowering song, Let It Go, from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen, please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
What? Adele Dazeem? No, that's worse than I thought.
The talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
No, God, I have anxiety. Why did you do that? That's so bad.
And poor Dina's just waiting on the side of the stage.
She just had to be like, huh? Have you ever seen that Saturday Night Live skit where it's that lady named Nuni?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? Nuni. My name is Nuni. So they're trying to say their name, like, oh, my name is John. And she's like, Dan. Flamilala. Like, she can't pronounce the name John. That sounds like that.
That's funny.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
All right.
That secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing to life what would be my absolute worst fear. So now we're going to not mispronounce our nominees or our Bloody Mary recipients. So you go first.
No promises. And the Best Supporting Actress for the Bloody Mary Awards goes to Alex Angelis playing Lane in The Cleansing Hour.
Okay, you did that great.
Right.
I want to applaud.
I hope I pronounced her name right.
Now, I will admit, have not seen that movie. So please go ahead and tell me why your Bloody Mary went to her.
So it was probably the best possession performance I've seen in years.
Okay, that's saying something.
The movie, I think you need to see it because I think you would really enjoy it. It's another Shudder exclusive. And it's essentially about a guy who does a fake exorcism video series, web video series where he it's supposed to be kind of just over the top. I don't know, fake possession. And then he's the exorcist and he goes around and he helps people. Essentially, he hires paid actors to do this and his actor doesn't show up. So he decides to use his best friend / producer's girlfriend. And she decides to give her performance and stuff like that. But she actually gets possessed.
I was about to say, where is the horror element? But there you go. Yeah. She just happens to get possessed?
Yes, on while they're doing the podcast.
That's very inconvenient.
The live broadcast. Yeah, very inconvenient. So he's a fake priest, and obviously, but he now has to
try to exorcise her for realsies?
Yeah, it's actually very good.
Okay.
And her performance is so good. And I've like never seen this actress in anything, but I was like, no, like she like kills it. And I really appreciate her performance. I remember like it stuck out as like I picked it because it just looked cool on Shudder. And I was actually really impressed with the movie.
Sweet. Okay, yeah. I will definitely check it out. Well, my Bloody Mary award goes to Alison Brie for The Rental. Alison Brie played Michelle, who is Charlie, the main character's girlfriend. Charlie is a douche, even though he's played by Dan Stevens from The Guest. I did it. Every single time.
God damn it.
It's going to be like 6 degrees to The Guest. And I really like her because I feel like she is very multidimensional, and her situation in this film is such that she has to deal with supporting her man. She has to deal with the fact that she knows that he has romantic interest in his business partner who's there. She has to be the loving sister-in-law to Charlie's brother. She also has to kind of be playground monitor because my favorite little thing about this film is that she really wants to go on this hike. She reminds me of all those bitches that are like, let's go on a hike. Like you promise them when you're drunk and then she holds you to it.
Yeah.
So, and also too, even though she's kind of like a straight shooter and she's responsible, she also has a little bit of party to her, and she brings like some drugs on the trip. And I just feel like she portrays that type of person. All of those elements you can see clearly in Alison Brie's performance, and she conveys them so well in a relatable way. And when shit hits the fan and the tension starts, the dread comes out, and she deals with things the way that you or I would. Like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like she actually makes the right decision, and the acting, her performance really conveys those things. So good for her.
She has like one of the best lines in the film. And one of the best lines I've seen in this film, which is when they discover the dog is missing. She's like, oh, fuck, the dog got out. Like, but she's like high as hell on drugs, and her delivery is just so good.
And that actress too, Alison Brie, is just like, she's really good she has a comedic edge, and she can carry that.
Yeah, a lot of people would know her most probably from the Netflix series Glow, which is the women's wrestling TV series.
And she was also in Scream 4. She was Sydney's agent.
Mm-hmm. And you hated her in that film.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, she like got thrown onto a car. So yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yes, go Alison Brie. I want to see you in more. I really like you.
I'm totally down. And she seems like she would take a character, and she just does it well. She doesn't seem like she needs to always be the starring role. Hence
there's something about her that she seems very experienced, but she was cast as like not the main, but like it's fine.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm like, oh, this bitch gets main roles like elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So the next category for the Bloody Mary Awards is going to be Best Supporting Actor. You know, we always love a leading man, but sometimes it requires a supporting actor.
Some support.
To just, really nail down that film.
Somebody to step on to raise yourself up.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a good guy and sometimes it's a bad guy. My Best Supporting Actor for 2020 horror actually goes to Julio Diaz as Enrique Monteverde.
Ooh, Monteverde.
Who, yes.
Dios mío.
I know, from the film La Llorona, which was not to confuse it with the
Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah, or whatever, the spinoff of the Conjuring series, which I adore, but that film wasn't great. This is from another Shudder, actually, which I'm not even doing this on purpose.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah, and also like there's not a lot of horror films in theaters, and Shudder just produces good content. So but this film is actually it's super cool because I believe it's actually nominated for the Oscars as one of the best foreign films too.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So,
and a horror film debut. We get snubbed all the time.
Yeah. So super cool. And I really, really, really like this film. I was honestly going to start it just to watch something kind of spooky and fun, and this movie is spooky a little bit, but it's actually neither of those things. But it's a really good drama series that it still feels horror. That sense of dread is throughout the whole film, but in this particular character, the reason why I chose Julio Diaz is I think he embodies this character who's aging and honestly past the point of true punishment for the horrible crimes he's committed in his past, but the ghosts have caught up on him, and his legacy is ultimately the thing that's in danger, not his body. And I think the character plays this haunted dementia old man really well, because in the beginning you kind of feel bad for him, but by the end you're like, no, fucker, this is what you get. Like, it's a long time coming. And
damn.
Yeah, I think it was a really good, it required a good actor to play the role, and he did a good job. Amazing.
Another thing that I promised you I will check out.
It's good.
Well, my Bloody Mary goes to Jesse Plemons for I'm Thinking of Ending Things. He plays the boyfriend, Jake, who is obviously in the storyline going to be the victim of the breakup soon. And he takes his girlfriend, on that really, really snowy, icy road trip to meet his parents. And the whole movie is really this tense, uncomfortable, strange vibe. Like, as soon as you get in the car with him, even like the conversation between him and his girlfriend seems kind of contrived, and it doesn't feel like as natural as it should be. And it just has this sense of underlying tension the entire time. The thing about Jake, though, is he is trying to be the best boyfriend that he can in the film, and he's trying to kind of push his partner into, liking his parents and experiencing his childhood home. And the whole thing is filled with a sense of dread. Have you seen I'm Thinking of Ending Things?
Yes, I have. Actually, after you told me to watch it, I was wanting to see it, but I heard it's like kind of like an investment.
It is. And
so
the story, even though it reveals itself for the most part in the end, it's not something that you know of the whole time.
Yeah. And I heard about it actually first as a book, because I remember when the book came out, it was on a lot of people's like, you have to read this. Don't read anything about it. Just read the book.
Read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think the book is delivered in a very similar way where you think it's one thing, but it ends up being another. And but yeah, so I did watch it. It was a kind of a dreary day off, and I was like, hey, it's 1:00. I don't think Frankie's going to like this movie, so I'll just watch it.
I don't think Frankie would have liked that at all.
No.
We just know our partners.
Well, I'm
you know what I mean?
Honest, I'm not sure if I loved it, but not because of the film's fault. It's kind of a it's sad.
It's sad. And I mean,
not a happy film.
It's not a happy film. It's very like awkward. There's a lot of weird. The trailer will make you think that it's this super intense horror,
like Hereditary meets
yes.
The Visit.
It meets The Visit, yes. But it's not.
No,
but I will
all.
say that there is something about Jesse Plemons as an actor that seems incredibly genuine. And he just seems like, as the boyfriend, someone you can't be mad at, even though he keeps on assuring his girlfriend, like, oh, we'll get home on time. And the weird thing is that she keeps asking, hey, to leave. And his finesse in like quietly declining her is part of why his performance really drew me to choose him.
Yeah. He's a great actor. Like in any film I've seen, I remember watching him. The first time I discovered him was in that film with Molly Shannon, where she has cancer and he's a queer son who like is kind of coming to terms with his mom has a terminal illness. And it's kind of a dark comedy film because she's taking it, I think.
Other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was really good in that. And then
he was in Black Mass. He was in Fargo.
Yep.
Like he was in the silly comedy Game Night, which he played like the cop.
Yep.
I really liked
good movie.
it. Yeah, that was actually like pretty funny.
It was
like
pretty
I didn't
funny.
expect it to be, but it was. But
I feel like he played a total like asshole, like evil character too in one of the in a film I've seen too. Like he's a great actor.
Yeah, he's just someone I want more of too. Like that's why him and Alison Brie. Some people might be like, why are you choosing them? Like their parts weren't even that crazy, but it's not. It's about them as actors on the whole, and their performances in this film are subtle, but they make a difference for the film. Like if it was anybody else playing those folks, I don't think the films would have been the same.
And Charlie Kaufman made the film, right? I mean, I watch anything he's in. He did like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and like other really good films.
The aesthetic of that film too is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love those, fall and teal pattern. Like, oh, so nice. Anyway, that's who my Bloody Mary goes to. Cheers to Mr. Jesse Plemons.
Congratulations, Jesse Plemons.
Wherever you are, just know you have a fan in me.
We're excited for more things from you. Do we have time for one more before our commercial break?
Let's actually. No, let's get some bubbles first. I'm looking at like what we've got ahead of us, and I really feel like we need a top off first.
Things are going to get a little intense, so let's go get a top off.
I need some more brute. We'll be right back.
Hey, Goal, hey. We just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for listening.
As a new podcast, we could use your support.
If you're enjoying the show, let people know about us. Subscribe to the show, leave 5 stars, and consider writing a review.
Don't forget to check out our Patreon, Monsters and Mimosas Uncorked, for behind the scenes and bonus content. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at monster_mimosa.
And check us out online at monstersandmimosas.com.
All right, and we are back.
We are back with the Bloody Mary Awards. Thank you for our sponsors, or lack thereof.
I know. I was like, me? Because I bought
Charlie's like,
Trader Joe's.
Is there news?
You shared Triscuits.
Have you been getting paid without me?
Yeah, like what?
So far we've covered Best Jump Scare, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and we're going to move on to a category that's not acting related. Charlie, do you want to introduce the next category?
Why, yes, I would love to. I wish I had a montage to be like, over the years, we've been disgusted by many films.
I know.
Our skin has crawled for these scenes that you're about to see.
It just goes to like the Psycho shower snapping scene to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like to like all of the like crazy gore, like Night of the Living Dead. Oh, that'd be so fun.
I love that, with eating like all the intestine stuff.
I know.
Well, the next category is Best Gore. And who is your Bloody Mary pick?
My Bloody Mary pick for Best Gore also goes to like, honestly, probably one of my favorite films from last year. And it goes to the film Possessor. And in particular, the severe beating and mutilization of Sean Bean's character of John Parse, I think is how you say the last name, which was like everything and anything, like fire poker. I'll just say it involves a fire poker and eyes being popped out and through the teeth mutilation, eyeball mutilation,
eyeball food, teeth
stabbing
foo.
And banging, and
yes,
the fucker still lives.
The fucker still lives. So we were gonna originally decide, okay, what's the best kill? But he lives, so we could not do best kill. We decided to go with best gore, and I will also say this was also my choice. Obviously, the whole film is that type of gore and violence that is unexpected. When it happens, it's very intense, but it's not in your face the entire time, like say Human Centipede or like House That Jack Built, that kind of stuff.
No.
When it happens, it's just like Guillermo del Toro's violence in his films. It comes in spurts. It's incredibly intense, and it leaves you feeling very uneasy and blah, 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 like that.
Yeah.
That's the only reaction, I think.
It's like
ooh.
It's a gory film, but it's not a torture porn film, if that makes sense. Like it happens, very suddenly, even the first kill. I mean, there's a scene where someone gets their fingers chopped off and the fingers are still like moving on the ground and you're like, but this particular scene, it's like hard because I feel like it trumped so much of 2020's kill scenes. Like I feel like 2020 actually was the year of like when there was a true kill scene. It was quick and like not super bloody, or like I don't know, like it'd be like a shot to the head and they're gone, and then we're over. We moved on, But this particular scene like felt like it took forever, even though it probably happened within a minute, and was so good. It was so good.
It was intense. I can't remember if it's still on Hulu, but Possessor was on Hulu. If not, I need to buy the 4K. I do.
It's a good film.
I just need to get it.
Yeah, check it out. It's definitely also like that film that bridges like sci-fi and horror really, really well. So that goes to Best Gore to Possessor from both Charlie and Daniel.
Congratulations, Possessor, David Cronenberg.
I know.
I don't know what your prize is. It's just our recognition. That's your prize. Just know that your work is appreciated by Monsters and Mimosas.
Yes. And like we covered body horror, earlier this year, and Cronenberg's a figure for that. And his son, also Cronenberg, is definitely carrying that torch for his dad.
Please continue to do so, sir. We look forward to many more of these Bloody Mary Awards to come. We need more material.
We appreciate it. The next category, I think, is one of Charlie's favorites because she is a very big fan of this type of hybrid genre.
I definitely am. We will be giving our Bloody Marys to the best horror comedy of 2020.
I was split on this one, but I have a winner.
Yeah, I kind of had like first? A three-way thing. So yes, please give your Bloody Mary.
My Bloody Mary award goes to another Shudder film. Surprise, guys.
Look here.
I know. Possessor was not a Shudder film.
True. You managed to get one and but like two or three.
It goes to the film Scare Me in Shudder, which
that was unique.
Very unique film. And this was a toss-up for me. The reason why I chose Scare Me, I talked with you like right before we recorded. I'm like, I'm stuck between two films. Here's why with one. Here's why with the other. Which one do I choose? And as I talked it out, I was like, okay, it definitely has to go to Scare Me for me. This film, as Charlie said, is very unique. It is a very small cast, very small film with all things considered. It is literally about two people in an isolated cabin who decide to have a contest on who could tell the scariest story.
And they add these really fun elements of sounds and shadows and visuals to make the stories come to life.
Yes, but to make your expectations really set. This is not a film where the story begins and it becomes like some sort of anthology where the story gets reenacted with actors and stuff. It is literally them telling the story like with their mouth, using their own sound effects from their mouth and like making their body shape.
This was a movie that could easily have been a Broadway show.
Yes, 100%.
You could just sit there and watch it. It's one setting. The two people are the stars. It's almost like Rumors. You have one set. Yes. It doesn't move. The whole thing takes place in one room. The two people really bring this to life.
Yes, it requires, really good acting from the actors. These were people who were for sure runner-ups for like Best Acting Award. I didn't end up choosing them, but like they really killed it. It's Aya Cash, who plays Fanny Addy, and Josh Rubin, who plays Fred.
And the Pizza Man.
Who plays, that's Chris Redd, who plays Carlo. But yes, it is very small cast and they tell scary stories. It's really funny. And the reason why I chose this over the other film was because I think it executed what it wanted to execute incredibly well. The other film I was thinking of was a film that stuck out with me throughout 2020 that I actually enjoyed. It got mixed reviews, but Bad Hair, which was, about an evil weave.
It was an evil weave.
Yes. And it was funny.
But it brought so much power.
Yes, it had a lot of power. And it was funny and I liked it. I thought the acting had like Kelly Rowland playing a little pop star.
Yes, it was great. She looked amazing, by the way.
She looked,
oh my God.
She looks phenomenal. Anyways, like I really enjoyed Bad Hair. The reason why I didn't choose Bad Hair was because I feel like it still had some areas for improvement for what it wanted to do. Because there was some weak parts in the film. I
feel like if they would have taken longer to make the film, it just felt like some parts were a little bit rushed.
Yes.
But it has good bones.
There's something there. There's something special. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend seeing it.
And there's obviously like social commentary and an impactful story.
Yes.
Which I just keep it coming, horror.
Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah. And also Vanessa Williams is in the film and she
also looks fucking amazing.
Fantastic.
Jesus.
And she was also almost my pick for Best Supporting Actress, in all honesty, because I thought she killed in the film. But I think Scare Me, for what it wanted to do, was just a better film.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that Scare Me is not going to be a movie for everybody. But if you are into the idea of a small setting, a small cast, and something that does kind of resemble like a show that you would go see, that I would say that too. But my Bloody Mary actually went to Freaky. I loved Freaky. It definitely feels like a Blumhouse film, but in the best way. You definitely have that Happy Death Day vibe. Vince Vaughn is fantastic. In this film. He is so versatile because he plays the Plainfield Butcher in kind of like half of it. And then the other half, he switches bodies with this teenage girl and you get to see this vulnerability. It's almost like The Hot Chick meets a horror film. So it is kind of the same thing. There's a ritualistic item that gets used, and then they swap bodies. And now they're kind of, he's this 6'5" man who's in his 50s that has to convince his two best friends in high school that he's actually their friend Millie. And meanwhile, Millie now is this, she was a meek girl. She played the school mascot, like dressed up in this giant beaver costume, crushing on one of the football players, kind of definitely goes unnoticed. So now he shows up at school and acts like a badass in her body. And it's just this really fun, I don't know. And I feel like there's also representation in a lot of ways in that film. She has a gay best friend, and we need more gay people in horror. I'm sorry.
True.
We do. We're getting there with adding more people of color, but I would really like to see more gay LGBT.
Yeah.
Like, please.
More queer representation.
More queer representation.
For
So
sure.
we have it. And the cool thing about it is he's not used as this, like comic relief the entire time. Like, yes, he has his funny moments, but so does everyone in that film. And so I really appreciate that character a lot. He really helps make the film like what it was. But the whole thing is just fucking funny.
I know. Don't be mad at me, but I haven't seen Freaky yet.
I mean, that's okay. I haven't seen like any of the stuff that you told me to watch, but I do have it so you can borrow it.
I'll have to borrow it.
And it is, if I may, with COVID, it is a really weird thing because when this film first came out, I was like, cool, I'll just stream it. But I'm a physical media person, and I saw that the price to rent it, stream it, was the same price as buying it physically. And so I decided to just wait and just blind buy it. I do that sometimes because if you're going to pay in this climate, the price you're going to pay to rent it, I might as well wait 2 months and then just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone else is doing that.
That's fair. That's 100% fair. Anyways, so best horror comedy, Scare Me and Freaky. Congratulations to them.
Congratulations.
Now we're down to the big three categories. We didn't decide to do like big best director for this one because, to be quite honest, even though I love award shows and I love the Oscars, I don't even know what the fuck, like, how do you award best director? Because like it always confuses me when they like award some, like a film best picture, but then the director doesn't win best director. Cause I'm like, if your job is to make the film.
It is weird. Yeah. Because they're the ones who say, hey, I want you to use this tone. I want you to coming out this way. I want you to stand here. They are the reason for.
Yeah. And like rarely, unless the director is also the producer of the film, which doesn't happen like super often, like you don't get the Oscar for best picture, which baffles me. The producers get the Oscar for best picture. So I'm like, unless I'm there witnessing them direct the film, how can I be an authority to like decide they're the best director? Because there's also been plenty of really good films that have terrible directors. I mean, like Stanley Kubrick was like, he obviously produced wonderful art, but like he traumatized Shelley Duvall for life. For The Shining.
For life. She has never recovered.
Yeah. And so like I wouldn't nominate, like I would, even though I think The Shining is one of the greatest horror films of all time, I would never like be like, oh, you were a great director, because
you're a stand-up guy.
Don't think you need to traumatize your actors to get good performances. I think that's a very false thing that happens, unfortunately, kind of often. Anyway, so we're skipping that category and we're going right into Best Actress. So the Best Actress for the Bloody Mary Awards that Daniel provides.
My God.
Goes to Elizabeth Moss in The Invisible Man. And Charlie, who is your best pick?
Elizabeth Moss. Because also, too, I'm biased. I love this woman's facial expressions in everything that she does. She can show contempt. She can show joy. She can show irritability, despair. She can smile like with so much joy. This woman is just amazing. But
she's
in this
an amazing
film,
actress.
Her disdain and her inner like tortured because like no one believes her. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I know. She kills it in this film. This film, because the antagonist is invisible, spoiler alert, she carries the film, I think, in a lot of ways because she's usually acting with like some no one except for this invisible presence, right? So she has to convey all the emotions. She has to stare at something that's not there and look terrified. She, you know, there's
It's
definitely
literally a man in a green screen suit that she has to like freak out over.
Yeah. And in all honesty, like there's a sense of empowerment in the film that she has to convey as well. And that switch doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel sudden. It feels like she's gradually became from a crumbled person to a powerful person.
Yeah, she definitely was crumbled. She showed her strength in the beginning when she like tries to like leave her man.
Mm-hmm.
And so that alone, I was like, ooh, okay. Like we know she's pulling out all the stops.
Yeah. I mean, I think the scene that really stuck out to me was when she kind of threatens suicide, not in a way that is she's like actually going to go through with it, but she realizes she knows he's going to try to stop her from doing that. And it's a very powerful scene. And I don't know. I'd
also like to give a little monster mention to the gorgeous man that she stays with.
Absolutely.
I'm like, excuse me.
I mean,
if I ever like have to leave a toxic situation, please send me to his house.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, like, you know, the invisible man in the film is a little hottie from The Haunting of Bly Manor.
I know he is fine. I've never seen a better looking portrayed drug addict in my life.
He's not so bad looking, invisible and not invisible.
Although his accent in Bly Manor I thought was going to be bad, but it was actually really sexy.
Really good. Yeah. And I think, you know, he'd be like a kind of person that I'm like, well, you know, you can take the suit off, but if you really must, you can keep it on too.
Daniel, you're blushing.
Some invisible dick.
Oh no, we wouldn't be able to see it. Okay.
Oh no.
Moving on.
You're like, where's it at? Where's it at?
Where's it at? God. Anyway, Elizabeth Moss, you are amazing.
Yep.
You definitely deserve that Bloody Mary, girl.
Yeah. And you'll get it like an Oscar one day. I'm sorry, this is not the Oscar, but one day.
They once again, this film was snubbed by the Academy, and it's not a surprise, but I mean, if they're gonna look for a Best Actress, I mean, really.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. And the Best Actor is the next category, a category I don't believe in celebrating men. It's just like something I don't do very often.
All right.
But we're going to do Best Actor anyways, because there are sometimes once in a while men don't fuck up. And
it's true.
We have to celebrate those few men who don't fuck up in this world.
It's true. So who are you celebrating with your Bloody Mary award?
So I'm going to apologize if I butcher this name because I have not heard it.
It's not going to be as bad as John Travolta. So
I believe it's pronounced Sope Dirisu, who plays Bull in His House. A film that I also think people should check out. It is if you're a fan of horror, I don't know how I missed it for so long. I watched it not that long ago, and this one was like really good. And I'm like, it was on Netflix. I'm like, no one told me to watch it. I had to unfortunately find it like kind of very accidentally.
Which is really weird because I actually scanned the horror section on Netflix today because I was at, my mom's house, like looking for something to watch. I didn't see it there. I'm hoping that it's still on there. I don't want to miss it. Okay, good.
Yeah, it has to be. It's such a good horror film. It's so relevant for this time. It's about a refugee couple who come from Africa into the UK and are put into a refugee housing that they barely made it through. They have, countless amount of trauma, and they start to be haunted by a mysterious spirit that they kind of brought with them from their country. In addition to experiencing also just the blatant racism and just problematic treatment that refugees often get in white countries. And so they're kind of battling two different forces. And what I loved about this film too is that I learned so much about this particular couple's home country. And not to shout out like another like podcast, but like the Dead Meat podcast, I listened to their episode on it after watching the film, and they actually did a history of the countries that constantly are changing that this couple comes from, and like how the film actually represents the history in the film, and the ghosts are kind of representation of this constant struggle for land and resources.
Makes sense.
And I was like, oh my God, like this film was already really good. And now like the color choices of why red was chosen and like all that totally makes sense. But But no, it's a very powerful film. And this character, him and his wife actually do a fantastic job in the film. Well, but he's the one really, truly being haunted by some of the dangers from his country. And it's coming back to him. And as he's trying to start a new beginning. And obviously something happened on their journey there that we don't get to discover till closer to the end, although the beginning kind of gives you a good clue. But and you realize just this, ultimately you realize the sacrifice that some people take to come to freedom, is
super pertinent right now.
And then to not receive that when you actually arrive is all the more tragic. And he does it very, very well in the film.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's called His House, and it's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yep. His House.
All right.
See, not a Shudder film.
Not a Shudder film. Wow. Well, I am going to reveal my Bloody Mary pick for Best Actor, and it's definitely a well-known name in the horror genre. I am going to choose Elijah Wood for Come to Daddy. And this film is a story about an estranged son and father kind of relationship. And the son really wants to, he gets a letter to come see his father, who lives in this gorgeous house. Similar to The Rental, it's kind of a house that overlooks kind of like some cliffs and an ocean and kind of a foresty area. And he goes and tries to kind of, rebuild a relationship that he has with his father. And when he gets there, his father is nothing. He's the ghost of the man that he used to know and love. And so Elijah's character wants to impress his father. And, he is involved in like the music industry. So tries to kind of talk himself up a bit. And for some reason, the father is just being very abrasive. And there's this giant subplot. This movie has a twist. You think you know what's going on until all of a sudden you don't. And there's a lot of intensity in this film. But I think the thing about Elijah Wood is that he has been in so many horror films that, he's been in like Cooties. He's been in Maniac. He's been in The Faculty. He's been in The Good Son. He is a well-seasoned horror actor, and he just always has this look of vulnerability in his roles. And I think that's what he really brings to the table. And he definitely fits the profile of, a son who's trying to repair a relationship with his father and who will do almost anything to like impress him.
And Elijah Wood owns his own film production company now, right? Like this is a film that came from that, I believe. I know there was a couple other horror films I've seen, like, is it something The Real Daniel or something like that? That is also on, I think, Shudder.
Like Daniel Isn't Real?
Daniel Isn't Real or something.
Are you not real?
No.
Oh, shit. He's a fake bitch.
I am a fake bitch. I am as fake as press on nails.
Oh, shit. I think another thing I like about Elijah Wood, too, though, is that he's like a nerd. Like
total nerd.
There was like an Animal Crossing podcast that came out and they went to his island and he totally is like an Animal Crosser. And like, he just is like adorable. Like I remember being a kid and he was my first movie crush because he was in the Disney made for TV movie Huck Finn. And I just remembered those big, beautiful eyes and that sincere face and him crying in that profile. I was like, dude, you're already a good actor. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. He's a really good actor.
Yeah. I love him. And he does great in this film. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's not going to be what you expect. And that's okay.
Yep. We actually appreciate when things are not what you expect. And that's what's so great about the horror film or horror genre, right? Is that you never know what you're going to get.
It's like a box of chocolate.
It's like a box of chocolate. I can't do a good Forrest Gump.
That's okay. Only, a choice few can.
It's an overrated film anyways.
You're only saying that because it came out the same year Pulp Fiction did and it won Best Picture and Pulp Fiction didn't.
Oh. Well, Pulp Fiction's not even my favorite Tarantino film anyways.
Jeez.
It's
all
like
right.
mid-tier.
Well, speaking of your favorite film, what was now we're going to go into it, guys. We're just going to do it.
I know.
Best Picture.
Host.
What? You're supposed to build up to it. You just said it.
Oh.
You're supposed to say, and the Bloody Mary Award goes to...
The Bloody Mary
And he just
Award
goes, host.
To...
Wow.
Maybe we can have this like nice little La La Land and Moonlight.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, wait, just kidding. Sorry.
Psych.
It says I don't know, The Invisible Man.
Oh
it
my
says The
God.
Invisible Man. Sorry, guys.
Well, now that he already said it,
Just kidding.
I'll just let you go first then and discuss why Host was your choice for best horror picture of 2020.
Had to, like, I mean, you didn't convince me. You said, you know, you were impartial, but I was like stuck between really 4 films stuck out to me, and all of them are kind of listed on here. It was like Host, His House, La Llorona, and The Invisible Man were like 4 that really stuck out to me throughout this sort of year. The reason why I chose Host was I think it was a film that you can show anyone, because even if they're not like hardcore fans of the genre, they're going to have fun. This film was fun.
This film also for me was chosen for best horror film of 2020 because I was actually scared. Yeah. I don't ever hardly watch horror films anymore and get scared. I was afraid. And so was everyone else that watched it with me. I think I mentioned it when we covered it in our first podcast of this year. Or of 2020, actually, when we came back. I showed my mother. I watched it with you guys. I watched it with one of my friends at home. And every single person across the board was actually scared. People who are not horror fans or who discount horror as something silly. So to me, that is a horror film. If you watch the other films with them, you know, I guess like there's definitely going to be impressions, but I saw fear in this instance.
Yeah. And I think also it happened at the right time. Like, it is a quarantine horror film. We kind of talked. I said, I was like, if there was one horror film that I'm like, when I think back 5 years from now, and hopefully a lot of this mess is far behind us, I can look back and be like, oh, you know what, 2020 Host, like that was a good film. It was made very quickly. I mean, the way it was made is so cool.
But it doesn't seem like it was taped together
either. No, not at all. And I think it just really symbolized last year. A lot of the other horror films I kind of mentioned that came close to me that were, I think, really stand out, that could have honestly been made at any other time. And I don't think that should be their fault, but like, I don't know, this film was fun.
It was compelling. It was scary. It had fresh actors that no one knows who they are, and they all did a very, very good job. And it's universal. It has a clear message. Had to do with, you know, current timelines. And if I'm being honest, like, you know, if we're going to compare our Bloody Mary awards to the Oscars, I've seen like weaker films win the best category. And I mean, if you think this is that instance, that's fine. But I think this is definitely impactful and the strongest horror of 2020.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is a film to see. I also like how it broke the rules, right? Like, just the making of the film breaks the normal filmmaking rules.
I mean, it's running time alone.
Yeah.
It's an hour long.
It was like, we don't have to make this a 90-minute movie just to make it a 90-minute movie. I think it's going to continue. I think there's hopefully a lot of horror is going to like look at this film and be like, you're right. We don't have to elongate a runtime. Just because, like, what if we did something shorter and made it scarier and faster, and like, you know, and I think a lot of films would be better from that, you know.
Absolutely. I think all of the gals in this also deserve a little Best Supporting Actress award. They all had to do their own stunts, set up their own, you know, little sets. And
how about Best Ensemble goes to the cast of Host?
Yes, Best Ensemble.
Yes. Last minute category that's very official and deeply researched.
Each of them get a Bloody Mary.
Yes, Best Ensemble. Well, everyone, congratulations to all the winners tonight.
You guys all look great, by the way, in all of your red carpet couture.
We look forward to seeing a lot of 2020 films now becoming 2021 films.
Yes, I'm still waiting for Candyman. Projected release date the Hollywood. 28th of August. We also have Halloween. You're right.
Halloween Kills comes out this year.
Hurry up.
Hopefully those make it onto the list next year. But, you know, we always appreciate a strong competitor. Is there any 2021 film that you feel like is like stand out so far?
Oh gosh.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, I haven't been like overly impressed with anything I've seen in 2021.
I will say in horror comedy, I did see a movie on Shudder called Slacks. That's about a pair of killer jeans.
And it looks gory.
It was fun. It was fun. It was definitely a pair of jeans that it wasn't just one, actually. Like, there's this curse that happens. But I will say that was at least inventive and had some pretty good gore. So if you're going to want to check out something for horror comedy so far this year, go ahead and go on Shudder and check out Slacks.
I will try. Anyways, folks, we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you so much for listening in and listening to our Bloody Mary picks. If you guys have any films that you think that we missed, please, by all means, let us know in the comments below. And outside of that, we'll see you next week.
Or will we?
Oh, dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun.
dun. Bye.
Bye.